Yorkshin has a secret love. Yorkshin's unrequited love has returned, and she is also his childhood sweetheart. I've always known that I'm just a placeholder. He didn't know that I have loved him for 7 years. After I left, he said he regretted it. Yorkshin, I have something to say to you. I am overjoyed and want to share the happiness with him. Yvonne Su is back. His one sentence plunged me into the abyss. In an instant, I felt an icy chill throughout my body. 3 years of marriage, I thought I could occupy even a little bit of a place in his heart. Unfortunately, reality gave me a heavy slap. Congratulations. I think my expression must have been stiff. He seemed to look at me, but then again, he might not have. I heard the sound of a door closing. The medical checkup form in my hand suddenly felt searing hot, and the content on it became mocking and ridiculous. My hands unconsciously caress my abdomen. Within, a small life is growing. His father is now with another person. I'm feeling a bit nauseous. I first met Yorkshin at the large opening ceremony. At that time, he stood on the stage in dazzling brilliance, while I, just an ordinary and self-abased person, was obscured in the crowd. At that time, he existed in my eyes like the universe, like the stars, like all the infinitely brilliant and yet mysterious, eternal myths. I never thought that he would have any connection with me. At that time, I had a mushroom haircut and wore faded clothes, having just arrived from a poor mountain village to the city, like a toddling child, slowly trying to integrate into this world. Yet it always clashed with the glamour and brilliance of the large campus. They say that university is an ivory tower, but I have endured the deep malice of this society within it. Poverty seems to have become the original sin. I wish someone could lend me a hand, but life is not a novel. Where are all those heroes to rescue the damsel in distress? My marriage with Yorkshin is a very cliched story. He needs a wife, and I need money. My father fell off the scaffolding and his life is in danger. The mother borrowed from all her relatives, but still couldn't raise the funds for the father's surgery. Yorkshin, does the arranged marriage deal still count? I finally made that call I had been saving for 5 years. Of course. The man on the other end of the phone spoke in his usual casual manner. At that time, his family forced him to get married. I guess he lost the battle. He will probably choose me because I'm obedient enough. That day, we obtained the marriage certificate from the Civil Affairs Bureau, and I also received the 2 million as promised. After marriage, we seemed to live together like a normal couple, but I knew it was different. When Yvonne Su comes back, I will have to disappear from his life. I first met Yvonne Su at the welcome party. She was wearing a white dress, standing next to Yorkshin, radiant and dazzling. She is Yorkshin's girlfriend. Everyone thought they would be together forever. Alas, fairy tales are not perfect. That year, they broke up. There's no princess and prince misunderstanding plot, it's just because Yvonne Su likes foreign countries while Yorkshin has to take over the family business. I don't know whether I should express regret or feel happy. It is a complex emotion that cannot be described in words. At the graduation ceremony, Yorkshin remained gloomy-faced, and no one dared to approach him. Hey, isn't this the eldest son of the Shin family? What, were you dumped and are now drowning your sorrows in alcohol? The speaker is a playboy. I heard his family is quite powerful. Yorkshin just glanced at him and ignored him. Some people just can't stand his arrogant attitude. What? Still acting so arrogant after being dumped? Yes, there are opinions. You, come here. I was a bit dazed, pointed at myself with my finger, and walked over in 3 steps. Here is the translation. There she is, my new girlfriend. He pulled my hand and left. Is this a melodramatic story? I also think it's rather melodramatic. From then on, he would take me to participate in various activities in the circle. He would buy me bags and jewelry. He would take me to the amusement park. He would create small romanticism and small surprises just like all normal couples. Everyone thinks I'm very lucky, but only I know that I just stole the princess's glass slippers, and everything was just me passively bearing the consequences. He was just trying to make up for his regrets about someone else on me. I broke up with Yorkshin on a cold winter day. Perhaps it can't be considered a breakup. He seems to be tired of such days. To seek the shadow of another person in a person. He has 1 million in his wallet, and will no longer be in touch after this. I calmly accepted this outcome. Not at all surprising, isn't it? I did not accept the 1 million, I just quietly withdrew from his life. Looking back now, I was so foolish. Why did I have to fight over that little bit of pride when it came to money? Obstetrics and Gynecology Department, Jiangqing Hospital. 32 Julia Jiang. Do you have an escort? No. The patient needs to sign an informed consent form before an abortion procedure, and this surgery carries certain risks. Good. Julia Jiang signed her name neatly at the bottom right of the informed consent form. I lay on the operating table, looking up at the surgical lights, and suddenly felt a bit sad. Nurse, will it hurt? I ask. Don't worry, there's no consciousness yet. That's too bad, it's just that he couldn't see this world, which is ultimately regrettable. I'm not sure if I'm feeling sad for you or for myself. Tears roll down my cheeks and then disappear. To be overly optimistic is to gamble and have to accept the loss. Open the door, look at the cold and empty living room, and sure enough, Yorkshin has not yet returned. Actually, we should have gotten used to it, shouldn't we? I was ultimately only his last resort. Gazing at the contents of the suitcase, I felt somewhat lost. In this home, the only things I can take with me are these few belongings. I can't even fill a 24-inch suitcase. On the bedside table, there is the only photograph of me and Yorkshin. The girl in the photo is shy and self-conscious, while the boy shines brightly. Certainly, it's not suitable, you can tell at a glance. The photo was taken at the time of graduation. To take a photo with him, I asked everyone to take a group photo. How silly. The only thing that can prove our marriage is that red marriage certificate. Open the door, close the door. The divorce agreement, with signatures, was left on the coffee table in the living room, but it's unknown when the person it's waiting for will see it. The snowflakes fall upon my shoulders, yet no one brushes them away. When we were young, we couldn't express ourselves clearly. As we grew up, we became insincere. True farewell is not by the peach blossom pool or the ancient path, but simply on a morning filled with sunshine. Some feelings remain in yesterday. At the age of 26, Julia Jiang, who deeply loved Yorkshin, remained in that winter day with snowflakes flying everywhere. Now, at the age of 26, Julia Jiang is going to find the self she has lost. I dragged my bulky suitcase, hailed a taxi, and watched the familiar scenery gradually recede outside the window, gently saying goodbye. I didn't expect Yorkshin to call so soon. Julia Jiang, where are you? His flustered voice came through on the phone. Yorkshin, let's get divorced. I said calmly. After all these years, I'm tired. Since she's back, let's get everything back on track. It was not as easy as I had imagined, but it was more difficult than I had imagined. The phone was silent for a long time. Yorkshin, let's get married. The girl's voice is as sweet and soft as ever. May you be happy. I said this with a smile. Then, hang up the phone. Look, in the play of life, we are all good actors. Once, I thought I couldn't live without him, but now I know that no one is truly unable to live without someone. When I saw Yorkshin downstairs from the company, I had an urge to flee in panic. Julia Jiang, what do you mean? He pulled my hand, very tightly, and I almost thought he could not bear to let me leave. How could that be possible? Mr. Shin, I'm sure you're well aware that Yvonne Su has returned, and it's time for our transaction to come to an end. Finished? He seems a bit perplexed. This is the first time I've seen that expression on his face. Yorkshin's brother. The young girl running from afar has bright eyes and a kind gaze, but the disdain and contempt in her eyes are impossible to conceal. Are you Julia Jiang? She is indeed still so hateful, arrogant, and contemptuous of others. Yes. You should no longer bother Yorkshin, he is about to get engaged to me. Lover's eyes are indeed blind. I can't be bothered to argue with her, she's just an insignificant person. Good. I smiled and answered. I'm about to leave. Julia Jiang and Yorkshin seemed to want to say something. Yorkshin's older brother. Spoiled women have the best fate. I don't even know what I'm expecting. I am still somewhat reluctant. We never saw each other again after that day. A good ex-partner should be like their dad, I understand. 1 month later, I received the signed divorce agreement. And the purple divorce certificate. Indeed, the privileged class is great. I never imagined that I would receive an engagement invitation from Yorkshin. It's ironic that someone who didn't even attend their own wedding can attend their ex-partner's engagement party. Well, why not go? After all, the invitation has been sent. The hall was full of clinking glasses and lavish decorations. The two people on stage are still as dazzling, a golden boy and a jade girl, a perfect match made in heaven. Indeed, despite wearing a high-end dress and having an elaborate makeup, I still do not fit in here. I suddenly feel a bit bored. It's quite uninteresting. Julia Jiang. The voice coming from behind sounded a bit uncertain. I turned around and was suddenly stunned. Mark Shin? I looked back in astonishment. Although several years have passed, the man's facial features have hardly changed. You are really something, leaving a breakup message and then disappearing? The man raised his eyebrows slightly, with a peculiar and ambiguous tone. Ahem, that was a misunderstanding. It's over. The person I never thought I'd run into, I actually ran into them in such an awkward situation. Misunderstanding? He is advancing step by step. You said you got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, stepped into a void, broke your leg, and ruined your face. You didn't want to bother me. You don't look like you've had any knife work done. Were you just trying to deceive me? I think I can still save it. I hastily retreated. Mark Shin had an expression that seemed to say, I'm just waiting to see what you come up with. My mind is spinning like crazy, trying to figure out how to mislead. Oh no, explain. Just as I was about to speak, the main male and female characters of the banquet have arrived today. My ex-boyfriend brought his current girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and his ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend on stage. Wow, what a world-class painting. Julia Jiang, welcome to attend the engagement party of me and Yorkshin. Little White Flower held Yorkshin's arm, her smile as beautiful as a flower. My heart was completely unruffled. I even felt like laughing a little. 7 years of love, 3 years of marriage, and it all died in just a few months of separation. Isn't it incredible? Actually, there is nothing strange, it's just that disappointment has been accumulated. Lines that are parallel will never intersect. So, if you say you don't love, then you don't love. That's great. After all, I looked at the two of them without finishing what I had to say. It's the leftovers of others. Your expression suddenly darkened, Little White Flower. Miss, you must maintain a noble and graceful demeanor. Surely, the villain role is the most suitable for me. Uncle? The words of the male lead character next to me, however, broke my villain's aura, leaving the exterior burnt while the interior remained tender. Uncle? I stared at Mark Shin in shock. He is Shin family's cold and aloof Shin sixth master, who is indifferent to women. However, who told me that my mother ran off with someone else, my father died, and the family property was stolen? At a young age, he had to go out and make a living on his own. I used to cry my eyes out about it. All in vain, my heartfelt efforts were wasted. Yes, well. This is the plot where the ex-boyfriend is the nephew of the previous ex-boyfriend, and the female lead becomes his aunt in a fit of anger after failing to become his wife. I am not the protagonist. Why am I going through this? I'm quietly preparing to slip away. The scene of a major car accident is not a suitable place to attend. Where are you going? Julia Jiang. Two people spoke at the same time. Does her uncle know her? Yorkshin asked. Yes. My little wife who ran away with someone else. Mark Shin looked at me with a faint smile. Yes, at the time my identity was the little wife of Mr. Shin. Seeing the stunned expressions on Yorkshin and Yvonne Sue's faces, I really wanted to die. I barely made it until the male and female leads left, so I turned around and left. What's the matter with the person following you? Why are you following me instead of properly being your Shin Liu Ye? I don't have any cough syrup either. Don't ask me how I know Mark Shin. There is something wrong with your head. That was when I was 17. I was too young back then, and did not understand the cruelty of the world, so I followed the trend and fell into an online romance. Mark Shin, the sweet wife of Mr. Shaoshin, studying is so tiring. Mr. Shaoshin, then you don't have to work hard, I will support you. Haha, Mr. Shaoshin's little wife, are you stealing electric bicycles? Mr. Shaoshin is fine with whatever, as long as you are happy. Mark Shin, the lovely wife of Mr. Shin, have you finished work yet? Mr. Shaoshin. The little wife of Mr. Shaoshin must be tired. She must take good care of herself, otherwise, people will feel worried about her. Hello, Mr. Shaoshin. Mark Shin, the young and beautiful wife of Mr. Shaoshan, Happy New Year. I've been here all along. Markshan, the little wife of Mr. Shaoshan, don't work too hard, I'll earn money to support you after I graduate, moi. Later, the college entrance examination, graduated. Dear Markshan, the beloved wife of Mr. Shin, I fell down the stairs and broke my leg last night. I also damaged my face and the doctor said it cannot be healed. Let's break up, I don't want to hold you back. TSK, I'm really kind. Then, delete the one-stop service. Damn, the more I think about it, the more I want to kill that dumbass version of myself. Can't you just study properly? Why do you have to learn online dating? It's going to fail. Markshan, can you not follow me anymore? Do you not have anything to do with all your businesses? I did not follow you. It's just on the way. A person with a multi-billion-dollar fortune and a person living in a rented apartment saying they're going the same way, isn't that funny? Go with the flow. Markshan. I was married to Yorkshan, I took a deep breath, and I also had a child. If you are with me, it would be incest. Do you know that? I looked into his eyes, and I was no longer the naive young girl I once was. Let the past be memories. At least, those memories are mostly good. After 7 years of tumult, I know full well that I have already been shattered into pieces. Liking someone is too tiring, it's hard for me to piece together a complete version of myself, and the person who likes me will also become too tired. So, Markshan, please do not fall in love with me. I'm not good enough for you. Sorry, I'm late. He just walked closer, then gently embraced me. I stared at him blankly. In a flash, the tears seemed to have a mind of their own, and I could not control them. I thought I would never cry again. It's been a while since someone has hugged me properly. The pent-up grievances of all these years seem to have gushed out all at once, the burden of the family, the contractual marriage, the work pressure. Perhaps I have borne it for too long, to the point that I have forgotten that I was once a young girl who was unaware of the ways of the world. The next day, the person in the mirror with swollen eyes. I really am. How can I be crying like that? I was really stupid to have Markshan's tall figure cover me in tears, snot, and saliva. Seeing the contact named darling wife had left someone, I didn't know what expression to make at the moment. You ask me if I liked him back then, to be honest I can't say for sure, after all I was young, and my likes changed every 3 days, but he was somewhat different to me. I don't fully understand my own mindset at that time. All I know is that both he and I are no longer as pure as we were in the beginning. Time has not spared anyone. Go out, go to work. There's no time for melancholy, the working class must accept their condition. Mrs. Wang, what's happening over there? I watched the busy people coming and going next door, and asked the old lady sitting in the shade of the tree. I heard that because of work scheduling, they sold the house and are in the process of moving. The old lady rocked back and forth in her rocking chair, waving a large fan. Do you know who bought the house? That, how can one know? Only when the person moves in will one know. As a result, after the neighboring apartment had been renovated for half a month, I saw Markshan standing at the door. At that time, my inner thoughts were probably. The doorbell rang. The person was smiling when I opened the door. Hello, I'm your new neighbor Markshan. I've just moved in next door. Please take care of me in the future. I blankly accepted the obviously housewarming gift the man handed me, and watched as he turned and went on to knock on the next door. How do I know it's a housewarming gift? The 3 large characters on the packaging are clearly visible, even for those who are not blind. Close the door, open the package. I am staring at the peanuts, longan, and red dates in front of me, lost in thought. Isn't this a bit off? What is this guy, Markshan, up to? Hello, I like you, can I pursue you? The man in front of me wore a white shirt and black trousers. The sun was bright, and his eyes held a sense of shyness and unease. Markshan, did you take the wrong medication? No, can I chase you? The man asked again. No. Hello, I like you, can I chase you? The man held a bouquet of roses, his smile as radiant as the stars. No. Hello, I like you, can I chase you? The man's hands held a folded heart-shaped pink card. No. Chasing after my lovely wife Julia Jiang, let's start anew, discarding everything from the past. You are simply Julia Jiang, and I am simply Markshan. Looking at the messages in the dialogue box, I was overwhelmed with mixed emotions. I will be chasing my darling wife for the rest of my life, and this life is so short. If I don't make an effort, how can I be content? However, what was once irreplicable is now out of reach, and we are no longer the young children we once were. Time has turned us into the very thing we once hated the most. Second day. Hello, I like you, can I chase you? The man's smile was radiant, and the rose in his arms was a passionate red. Markshin, I am no longer the young girl you remember. I have lain with others and kissed them in dimly lit alleys. I don't care. The man interrupted me. How can you not care? After all these years, the person I love is not you, so why don't you care? I'm hysterical. The emotions suddenly became uncontrollable. Julia Jiang, I don't care. Look into my eyes. I really don't care. I just want you. I don't care about anything else. The man put his arm around my shoulder and spoke to me seriously, word by word. Markshin, I am very dirty. I am not worthy of your affection, being as soiled and impure as I am. Markshin, let me go. I pleaded with my eyes. I won't let go. Julia Jiang, you are my whole world. How can I let you go? The man whispered. I did not lie to you. I really was driven out of my home and ended up on the streets that year. If it weren't for that strange little girl, where would I be today? Moreover, I am not the child of the Shin family. I am only the adopted son of the Shin family. My father was the person most beloved by the old master of the Shin family in his younger days, but later he died unexpectedly in a brawl. My mother also chose to commit suicide by taking medication because she could not bear the blow. The old master of the Shin family then took me in and kept me in the Shin family under the name of an illegitimate child. But the intrigue and betrayal within the big family have never been few. When I was 15 years old, I was driven out of the Shin family by Lady Shin, and then I met you. So, I really haven't lied to you. Julia Jiang, don't leave me, I only have you. The man's tone betrayed a vulnerability that could not be concealed. The heights are cold, everyone wants to push me into a deep abyss, my life has been lacking in familial love, only that young girl gave me a safe haven, how can I let go? Julia Jiang, what would you like to eat? How about I make it for you? The man crouched in front of me, cautiously. I shook my head, feeling only exhaustion, a fatigue that permeated from the depths of my heart. Let's take a break, shall we? He treated me like a porcelain doll, and this made me feel uneasy. Closing my eyes, leaning back on Markshin's sofa, everything here is filled with his presence, making it impossible to resist getting lost in it. Dependence is not love. It would not be fair to him. As I wake up, the street lamps outside have already lit up, and the view is filled with the colorful neon lights. The man in the kitchen is busy tying his apron. The cheap apron does not match his whole body high-end look at all. I slowly got up and went out the door. The night air was slightly cool, the wind blew. She pulled her clothes closer, and then walked into the darkness. Midnight. I feel very uncomfortable, it's like going from the frying pan into the fire. With great effort, I raised my hand, opened my eyes, and mustered the strength to call someone, though I'm not sure who. Julia Jiang. Julia Jiang. Julia Jiang. The man's voice came through the receiver, but unfortunately I no longer have the strength to respond. I just hope he notices something is off and saves my life. I woke up in the hospital. The whole scene is white, the smell of disinfectant permeates the nostrils, just like the one I smelled when my father was hospitalized that year. I'm still on an intravenous drip, and I still feel weak. The man pushed the door open and walked in, carrying a cute thermos box in his hand. Dear Mr. Shin, my darling wife, when I'm sick, remember to use the Peppa Pig thermos, not the stainless steel one Mom brought today. I have no appetite with that one. Hello, Mr. Shaoshin. That winter of my second year of high school, I was hospitalized due to a high fever. It turns out he really did remember every word I said. Tears flow down unknowingly and unfeelingly. Julia Jiang, are you feeling uncomfortable? The man hurried over, his eyes filled with panic. Markshin, you don't need to be so good to me. I spoke in a hoarse voice. I'm afraid that one day you'll change and I won't be able to face the cruelty of life. Julia Jiang, don't talk nonsense. He gently wiped the tears from my face. Are you hungry? Why don't you have some porridge first? Yes. I nodded. I watched the man open the thermos, scoop out the white porridge, and then sit on the edge of the bed to feed it to me spoonful by spoonful. He is really gentle, and is completely different from the quiet young man I remember. Do you want to take a nap? Yes. Closing my eyes, I know that he is always there, with a peace of mind that I have never known before. My heart is at peace. Juliet Young, the man hesitated to speak under the traffic lights. I looked at him with some doubts. No problem. Mark Shin just smiled. There was not a trace of a smile in her eyes. Go in, don't catch a cold. If you feel uncomfortable, remember to call me, I'm always here. Yes. I'm leaving now. I nodded, watching him turn and walk away slowly. Mark Shin. I slowly opened my mouth. The man slowly turned around, and under the streetlight, I felt as if I had seen a deity. My personal god. Mark Shin, would you please hug me? I stared into his eyes without blinking. The man's body visibly stiffened, then he quickly walked back, looking at me uncertainly. Juliet Young, you just said. Mark Shin, hug me. I look up at my deity. The man trembled as he reached out to embrace me, as if he wanted to knead me into his body and embed me in his soul. Juliet Young, the man rested his chin on my shoulder, his voice tinged with a sob. I slowly hugged him, enjoying the tranquility of this moment, the vast expanse of heaven and earth, peaceful and serene. Mark Shin, don't be so fickle, okay? Good. Inflexible. Mark Shin, I don't want to work hard anymore. Can you steal a battery-powered bike to support me? Good. Whatever you say. Mark Shin, please don't leave me. I leaned against the man's chest, wanting nothing more than to stay that way forever. We do not live together. He still lives next door to me. This is his whole world. We will embrace under the dim streetlights and hold hands on the deserted path. We will go shopping together at the supermarket. Do you want to eat this? I pointed to the potato chips on the shelf. I'll buy it for you. He always indulges and spoils me. He always makes sure everything is ready when I'm on my period. Drink some ginger sugar water, dear. It's not good to drink, and it's also not effective. That's to warm your stomach, all right? Just have a little. He will put a warm pad on my abdomen. He will pick me up from work on rainy days and hold an umbrella for me. He will take me to the amusement park on sunny days, ride the boring carousel with me, and thoroughly enjoy it. He will quietly hold my fingers when the Ferris wheel reaches its highest point. He always tries to coax me with the tone used to coax young children. He is always worried that I am not happy. Just tell me you're not happy, and I'll take care of the rest. He always feels that someone will bully this little rabbit. Juliet Young, if someone bullies you, you must bully them back. Don't be afraid. I have money. I can afford to pay for it. He always hugs me and acts cute with me. Juliet Young, I really like you. We also curl up on the sofa under a small blanket together, binge-watching mindless dramas, then criticize the poor acting of this person and the awkward performance of that person. He never forces me to do things I don't like. We don't kiss, we don't sleep together, and we don't talk about the future. On a summer night, the sky is filled with stars. We lay on the balcony, holding hands and looking at the starry sky above. Mark Shin, I once heard a story that if you can kiss the person you love under the starry sky, the gods will bless them. Mark Shin, can I kiss you? The man paused for a moment, then smiled and spoke. Pluck at your will. Under the starry sky, the people embracing and kissing with their eyes closed are fully immersed. I clung to Mark Shin's shoulders, and he embraced my waist. In this moment, it seemed like eternity. The kiss ended. I lay on top of Mark Shin to catch my breath. Juliet Young, would you like to be York Shin's aunt? A man's slightly hoarse voice reached my ears. To be honest, I'm a bit smitten. It is not because of your fondness for York Shin's aunt, but rather the underlying meaning implied in this phrase. With my surname, I name you. Mark Shin, can you wait for me a little longer? Marriage, to me, ultimately requires caution. Although I know the people around me love me, I'm still afraid. Good. There was no unusual tone in the man's voice. I held him tightly. Mark Shin, I'll be right back. I won't keep you waiting long. It is said that Yvonne Sue is pregnant with York Shin's child. I heard that Yvonne Sue had a miscarriage. I heard that York Shin's company is in trouble. Yvonne Sue is reportedly demanding to break off her engagement with Yorkshin. I looked at the man next to me. Mark Shin, did you do the thing involving Yorkshin? Do not speak nonsense without evidence. Seeing the serious-looking man, the corners of his mouth unconsciously curled up. Come on, tell me, I said, pulling at the man's sleeve, speaking in a coquettish manner. I know he won't refuse me. Who let him bully you? My people are not something that cats and dogs can bully. I really love his serious and protective manner. Yes, your person. I teased him with a smile. Julia Jiang, I told you not to bother me. I changed the subject to avoid the man's dangerous gaze. How did you do it? You're always so concerned about others. The man opened his mouth in dissatisfaction. By heaven and earth, I just want to gossip. Mark Shin, all I want to know. No big deal, it's just that it makes people feel. Listening to the man's voice, looking at his reddened ear tips, I suddenly felt that my half-life of ups and downs was just for the sake of meeting this person who is completely devoted to me. I didn't expect Yorkshin to come to me. The doorbell rang urgently. I opened the door in my cotton slippers. The smile froze on Shin's face. Yorkshin, why are you here? Julia Jiang, the child is ours, how can you decide whether to keep or abandon it alone? The man outside had bloodshot eyes and reeked of alcohol. I paused for a moment. All right, I've got it, no need to say more. After all, there's nothing that can be changed. Yorkshin, we are already divorced. Divorce? The man's eyes were filled with a sense of bewilderment, which was truly ironic. How dare you divorce me? You have no right to divorce me. I do not answer, I just coldly look at him. Julia Jiang, let's make up. We will have lovely children, we will have a happy family, I will treat you well. He reached out his hand to try to pull me. Yorkshin. Mark Shin grabbed Yorkshin's outstretched hand. Uncle? Yorkshin carefully examined the person grasping his hand. How dare you lay your hands on her? Yorkshin looked at me and then looked at Mark Shin. So it seems you have already found a new buyer. Yorkshin, shut up. Uncle, the way you defend her, you wouldn't happen to have feelings for her, would you? Don't you know she's the broken old shoes I used? She has even carried my child. Don't you find that disgusting? How funny, the great Sir Shin, the sixth master of the Shin family, has actually become this way just for a common woman. Yorkshin's words cut through my heart like a knife. He's not wrong, I'm not a loose woman. You fucking want to go crazy and find someone else, otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. What, you actually threatened me for her? Julia Jiang, you are really amazing. Yorkshin looked at me with ferocity in his eyes. He finished speaking, withdrew his hand, and left without looking back. Julia Jiang. Mark Shin reached out to pull me. I reflexively stepped back. I clearly saw the uneasiness and concern in his eyes. But in what capacity can I continue to enjoy the tenderness he has given me? I'm not worthy. Mark Shin, don't come here again. I closed the door. I leaned against the door and slowly slid down, hugging my knees and burying my head between my legs, adopting this posture to give myself a little sense of security. I thought I had let go. I thought I could go on like this with Mark Shin for the rest of my life, but the appearance of Yorkshin made me realize that everything I've been through will never be erased. This winter has been so cold, down to the bone. Outside, the snowflakes fall on my shoulders, but no one brushes them away. On the second day, I submitted my resignation report to the company. I think I need to find a place to sort out my emotions and heal properly. Goodbye, Mark Shin. Farewell, my deity. A small town in Jiangnan, with azure bricks and black tiles. This place is peaceful and tranquil, without the hustle and bustle of the city. The soft and gentle Wanning dialect is what you hear every day. Here, the unpleasant memories seem to be gradually buried by the passage of time. Leaning on the window daily, gazing at the mist and rain of the Jiangnan region, obscuring the distant blue mountains. The landlady is a very gentle person. She often warms a pot of tea and sits by the window for the whole afternoon. The girl is back. She always greets me with a smile. Yes. Is the madam making tea again? She does not like the term aunt, always telling me to call her Mrs. Yes. She always responds to me this way, and then continues to gaze out the window. Until that day I asked her, does the madam like drinking tea? She smiled. I don't like it. And you? I am waiting for someone who loves tea very much. In the past, he would always come in from there, then stand by the window and smile at me, saying that I was a wasteful person who wasted good tea. From here, I just realized that I can see the main entrance by looking over the greenery in the courtyard. He did not know that my daily warm tea was not out of love for tea, but just an excuse to have more conversations with him. The lady's eyes were filled with memories. What happened later? Afterwards, the mountains and rivers have met, but the person we waited for never came back. The rain and mist of Jiangnan ultimately tore apart this pair of lovers. Young lady, remember to cherish the person in front of you. Life is not as long as you imagine. Some things, once missed, are truly missed. The lady's eyes seemed to see through everything. Can a filthy person truly defile the divine? In love, there is no such thing as can or cannot. Perhaps, in the eyes of your deity, you are the deity. Young lady, try to forget everything from the past. The present is what's real. Madam, I want to tell her my story. It's getting late. Go ahead. In the hazy rain and mist, I seemed to see a young girl of around 18 or 19 years old and a young man in his early 20s. The young man in military uniform slowly departed from his girlfriend. I'll come back and marry you. The young girl bade farewell to her youth with tears streaming down her face. I'll wait for you to come back. This wait is a lifetime. Madam, I would like to terminate the lease. I pulled my suitcase and looked at the landlady. Are you ready? The landlord's wife looked at me kindly. I'm ready. I will go to find my divinity. Bless you. Thank you. And bless you, my dear landlady. Jiangqing Airport. Mark Shin. In the vast sea of people, I saw my deity. The person staring at their phone screen looked up and came towards me. Mark Shin, I'm back. Are you going again later? The man holding me looked into my eyes and asked. I'm not going anymore. I'm not going anymore from now on. The sunlight falls upon the embracing people, as if bestowing a layer of golden glow. It's great. We've all found our futures.